We're going to be now learning the Musar for Sunday Parashat Nitzavim. הקובע עצמו תמיד לשיחה בטלה. If a person makes a habit to always speak idle talk, like empty words, ודברים בטלים, just talking things that have no importance, כדרך יושבי קרנות, like people who sit in street corners and pass their time to speak, like idle talk. Such people, שתיים רעות יש בדבר הרע הזה. There are two bad things in this activity of speaking idle talk. האחד, the first thing, כי כל המרבה דברים מביא חטא. Anybody that increases words, that increases talk, brings sin. והשני, and the second negative thing, כי הוא בטל מדברי תורה. The time that he could have used for learning Torah, he's wasting on idle talk. And since he's being batel, he's idle from learning Torah, that's the second negative aspect of this. ויש בדבר הזה דרכי מוות. And this path, there are certain aspects that lead to death. כי איך לא זכר ולא שם על ליבו? How could it be that he didn't remember, he didn't pay attention? כי בעתים ההם אשר הוא משחיתם, that with those moments that he's wasting away, יוכל להשיג הנעימות ולקנות חיי עולם, that he could have during those moments, acquire the ultimate pleasure in acquiring eternal life, which is connecting with Hashem through words of Torah. If you would have set away aside this time for actually learning Torah, obviously he was not working at that time. He's just wasting away with idle talk. He could have spent that time learning Torah. This happened this way only because he's baz et mitzvot. He's like belittling the mitzvot, and the reward of the world to come. Aside from having lost much goodness, yisa et avono, he will bear his sin. Because the sin of being idle from learning Torah, of not being occupied with learning Torah when he could have when he could have learned Torah at that time. Esh hi ad avadon. It's like fire that consumes all the way to oblivion. Ad avadon tochel. Kasher amru ki devar Hashem bazat, just like it says, he has scorned the words of Hashem in that pasuk. Kol she'efshar lo la'asok b'Torah ve'eno osek kasher ikdamu lach. Just like a person who had the ability, who could have learned Torah, and he was not spending that time to learn Torah. Ve'amru zichronam livracha, our sages said, ha'olech lemakom asher asfu shama asefa lischok. If a person went to a place where people have gathered just for the sake of frivolity, like a person that goes to the comedy store, for instance, and he was not Purim, such a person, he goes purposefully to a place where there is frivolity and joking around and that type of thing. Zeu moshav lechim. Zeu moshav lechim. This is a place, the seat of scorners. People who are jokers, scorners. Ve'alav omer hakatuv. This is what it says in Tehillim in the first perek. U'moshav lechim lo yashav. He didn't sit in the seat or together in the gathering of scorners. Ve'nemar harav. And what does it say afterwards? Ki im betorat Hashem hefzo. That his desire is for Hashem's Torah. V'asher lo shat libo la'asok b'Torah. And a person who didn't set his mind to learn Torah, bish'otav ha'betelot, in his time that is idle, it'ashet lenafsho ve'lo yovad. Such a person, he should use that time for solitude, ve'lo yovad ve'itboded. He should sort of give his time for solitude. And lachshov, to think, al kitzo, to think about his end, ulavin le'acharito, and to think about what is his end, ulhapez derachav ve'liknot ma'alot ha'nefesh, and to think inward and to introspect and to see how to acquire ma'alot ha'nefesh, the virtues of the soul, ulitkarev el Hashem yitbarach, and to come closer to Hashem. In other words, if you're not involved in learning Torah, don't spend that time wasting it away in idle talk. You can even take a little time off for solitude, for concentrating, and thinking about things that could bring you to serve Hashem. Thinking about what is the end, what is the purpose of life, thinking about what are these things that you can improve. So even if you're not learning Torah, you can use that time effectively to put your mind in the right, to set your mind in the right direction. Right.
Make a peace.
Right. Rather than just go and talk, joke around, and talk idle talk, and spend time talking. You know, there are people who could sit in a cafe for 3 hours. What a waste of time. You know, what a waste of time. Or some people that instead of learning Torah would spend like 3 hours watching TV, not even educational programs on the Discovery Channel, maybe catching up with some news, no. But looking at things that have no importance whatsoever. Some talk shows or some different things that have no relevance. It's a waste of time, and not just that. It's a waste of time best. And you know what? At worst, it's a bad influence. It could create, images that you see that you should not see. So the time is the most valuable commodity. We have to use it in a frugal way. We have to use it not being wasteful with time. Use it constructively.
How about the news?
So I'm saying, maybe just catch up, but not,
But don't
hours and hours.
Don't sit there and
hours and hours and hours. So that's the idea.
Repeating itself anyway.
Exactly. But the Musa says, don't waste the time in idle talk. Spend it, if you're going to idle talk, either learning Torah or to focus and get your mind in the right direction. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.